right? So again, this word kali is a word that has to do with strife. And what are people fighting about? What people are fighting about is essentially space. And space has to do with the space outside of our bodies, but it's also the space inside of our bodies. And what we're going to attempt to do as Dharma practitioners is to help people find what in Sanskrit is called sukha, good space. Sukha, and I haven't written it down here, unfortunately, but the word sukha means happiness. And it's defined, happiness is defined as having good space within your body. So physically, your gut is moving, your bowels are moving, your cells are operating, and they have room to assimilate nutrition and to communicate with other cells. So that's sukha in the body. Sukha outside of the body has to do with how you organize your home and so on. So here I'm defining all dis-ease is caused by the encroachment of one organism on the environment of another. And there is a book actually called Pandemic, written by an author named Sonia Shah, that describes most of our diseases today as, let me go back to her, as just that, the encroachment of humans into areas where they shouldn't be. And as a result, we have diseases, measles, AIDS, and other pandemics that are a result of organisms contacting each other that shouldn't be contacting each other. And she gives a lot of wonderful examples in the book of how when the environment of one organism, like the robin or the butterfly, is encroached by too much building, then diseases spread because those organisms actually keep disease in control. And West Nile virus and bird flu are all spread that way. So I won't delve into this too much, but this idea that the misuse of space leads to suffering is a primary idea here that I want to address. So dharma is supposed to help us find our good space. And now it's, now we should ask what dharma is. If you've heard me speak about this, this may be a little bit of a review, but the way I like to begin this is just to give you a definition of dharma, at least as I see it, and that is that a long time ago, the sages of ancient India figured out three basic things. The first is that everyone wants to be happy. People want happiness. The second thing is, and I know that's not too groundbreaking, but the second thing is that they figured out that the way one attains happiness is by living with nature rather than against nature. So for short-term happiness, you can certainly have pleasure, which is short-term. You can do cocaine, you can jump off a building, but pretty soon that abuse is up to you. So for long-term durable fulfillment, it is better to live with nature than against nature. And what they call this is dharma. So dharma comes from the root dhr. Dhr, or dri, is where our word truth comes from, as well as all of these other words. Throne, farm, druid, tree, these all come from the root dhr in Sanskrit, or Proto-Indo-European. And all of these are foundations of a stable society. Marriage, troth, the throne, right? The government, having a government to protect the village. The farm, which provides the food. The druid, who is the judge, the justice, the wisdom giver. And the tree, which is the embodiment of stability and life. So this is where the word dharma comes from, and dharma is foundation of society. Personally speaking, your dharma is your divine design. It's the software you were born with. And by living that design, you in essence, minimize negative karma and optimize positive karma. What does that mean? Well, by living your design, by walking, by vibrating at the level you were born to vibrate, you in essence you affect your environment in a way that minimizes negative karma. So I like to say dharma erases karma because it keeps you from creating more karma and helps you vibrate at your authentic level. Then as you do that, you gently cleanse, you know, like those products that advertise, this gently cleanses your hair. Well, in the same way, when you live your dharma, you gently cleanse past hurts, past issues, past karmas. And finally, it prevents you from doing someone else's dharma, violating someone else's space. If you were never meant to be a salesperson, but you're in sales, and you're making money, but you're not really happy, you're not only making yourself miserable, you're actually taking someone else's place. And this is one of the fundamental issues that I find in when working with clients is there are many successful clients, or there are many successful people who are not living their dharma, and they are some of the most miserable in their current condition. And so they come with issues like, well, my marriage isn't working, or I need to lose 10 pounds, I'm gaining weight. But really, the fundamental crux is we peel the layers of the onion of the client or the friend or the family member, is that they're at a crisis in identity. They don't know who they are, and they don't know what the heck they're doing here on this planet. So when you find yourself in that situation, you not only feel miserable yourself, you're often taking someone else's dharma by taking their place in the world. So, so the final way the dharma erases karma is because it aligns you with grace. And grace isn't something you can ask for or command, but you can put yourself in a place that invites it into your life. And here is the serenity prayer. And so fundamentally, what living your dharma does is it helps you answer this serenity prayer, which says, God, give me the grace to accept with serenity what can't be changed. Give me the courage to change what needs to be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. Okay? So this isn't light work that we're embarking on. This is, in my mind, the core fundamental work that everyone needs to do who is unhappy at some level. And let's look at what those levels are. So so the ancient sages said that everyone wants to be happy. For long-term happiness, you have to live with nature, and this is called dharma. Living with nature takes on, there are actually 5 levels that we need to consider. The first of these is the physical. There is a physical dharma to the body. The science that deals with this is called Ayurveda, but really any doctor, anyone who is a healer is practicing the first level of dharma. And by the way, in America today, obesity costs $160 billion, and the attendant problems related to obesity cost the economy $160 billion, which will be $300 billion by 2020. So just knowing and understanding this level of dharma, which we will talk about in this course, it's not the focus of the course, but it is the foundation, and it's necessary that we understand it. Just by mastering or having a good understanding of this level, do you think that you could help clients and maybe save them some of this $300 billion and even make quite a good living just by dealing and helping people through the physical level of dharma? This is a story I'm just going to share with you that wasn't planned, but I have a neighbor who is diabetic and who was just looking and feeling miserable. 3 days ago, I gave him water to drink, water with some minerals and just some nice micro minerals, micronutrients. And I forced him to drink the entire glass. For the last 3 days, he's told me he hasn't needed to take his medicine. His insulin, his blood sugar is perfectly level, and he has tremendous energy. So the guy was dehydrated. I mean, he's my friend, he's my neighbor, and I saw him and I said, "How you doing?" He said, "I feel miserable." And I looked at him and he was just dehydrated. So just being able to identify that, listen, the physical dharma is being obstructed here. And there are very simple things we can do, even working with water, working with some minor lifestyle adjustments that can really help people create the right space in their bodies. So the first level of dharma is the physical. The second level is the environmental. And this is, so if the first level is everything from the skin in, the environmental is everything from the skin out. It's how you relate to your environment. So you may be physically healthy, but if you're living in a place that is somehow obstructing you, then again, you can't have sukha, good space, happiness. If you're living in a house that has lead-based paint, that has asbestos, or, right, these are obvious sort of physical flaws, that can be a problem. But, oops, let's see, let's go full screen again here. But even if your house is misoriented or the center of the house is blocked, that can also be a problem. And we're going to talk about the second level of dharma. Again, it's not the main focus of this course, but we have to consider it because that may be the issue that your client or your friend or you find yourself in, right? And just by moving some things around, you can change your karma. You can change the experience of your life. So this is that second level of dharma, which says by changing your space, you can change your experience of your karma. Okay? Does this make sense to everybody? Okay. I'm psychically getting yes, so I'm going to go on. Okay, that's the...
Yes.
Thank you, yes. I do need a little validation, a little feedback. So that's the second level of dharma, and that second level is very much amenable to change and to your choice. And the word I used here is upaya. Upaya means upaya, means a subordinate way, going another way, having another avenue, another channel to experience life. So change your space, change your life. All right. So then the third level of dharma is the social. And that is the realm of the dharma types. The social creates space in your self-expression, in your daily life, by giving your life meaning, finding space to be yourself beyond just the, you have to make money, you have to eat, you have to poop, and all that kind of stuff, beyond mere survival. And the dharma types, this third level, is what we're going to focus on in depth in this course. All right, then the fourth level is the spiritual. The spiritual level of dharma is covered by the world's spiritual traditions: yoga, Vedanta, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, thisism, that-ism, ism, as John Lennon said. Well, these traditions are designed to help us tap into the fourth level of dharma. And finally, the cosmic, which is everything from the skin of the planet to out. It's how we relate with the macrocosm. And our ancient foreparents love to say, as above, so below. And so this cosmic level is finding out how we relate to the cosmos specifically by mapping the chart of our horoscope. At the specific place in time you were born, there were certain configurations. And what do they have to say about your relationship with your karma? And so we're going to use the horoscope not only to find the 3 levels of karma, we're going to use it to find where you have fixed karma and mixed karma, where we're going to use it to find your dharma type. And as we saw in this chart, we're going to use it to help you find ways to ameliorate that karma. And folks, the thing, like I said, my goal and my dharma is to try to digest these sort of complex materials and try to make them simple. And simple doesn't mean simplistic. Simple means easy to use and applicable in everyday life. So my job will be to teach you how to use this. And the astrocartography is one of the lessons, one of these classes that we'll be doing. But to understand astrocartography, first you have to understand the basic chart, the basic horoscope.